Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 233. I'm your host, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People. And if you really distill down what we do on a daily basis as real estate entrepreneurs, it comes down to having conversations and making offers. Conversations, quality conversations with a property owner to see if they would consider an offer in their property. And the ones that have made the decision that they are going to sell their properties, they've made their mind up. They know what they're going to do. They know what they want to accomplish. That's who we spend the most quality time with. And that's where we really pull out what kind of offer are we making? Is this a cash as is offer? Is this somebody that should be referred to a real estate agent? Is this an opportunity for a creative finance, right? Where the owner becomes the bank? Is this something for a subto where you take over a loan or an assumable loan, right? Is this a novation? What is going on with this property owner? You will not ever find out if you don't have a conversation with a property owner. That's what it all comes down to. That's why the talk to people is a motto, is something that I kept having to put into my head every single day when I had nothing, when I had lost everything from the crash. I had inherited a beat up car from my dad, and I was out there just driving around looking for properties that looked run down. They looked like they were in original condition, or they looked like they were totally destroyed. And I had to get a hold of the property owner somehow. I had to find a way to have that conversation to see if they would consider an offer in their property. And that's how we start out in this business. That's how we start out. Let me hit you with this. This is something that I went over in my live show last week, but I think that this is very important to look at. This is 2024 national averages. You guys can look this up. After-tax monthly income is $4,865. That's the average. Monthly interest payments on credit cards, student loans, car loans, whatever it is $1,583. The monthly mortgage payment is just over $2,000. And the monthly rent payment, if you're not paying a mortgage, is $1,536. That's a net cash flow per month of between $1,700 and $1,200 a month, or $1,200 to $1,700 a month. That means if you own your own house, you work from January to October paying nothing but interest and taxes. Let that sink in. That's the average American. That's not us here. We have the greatest audience of all time. We have people that are taking massive imperfect action every single day and solving the problems of the property owners that can't solve it themselves. But interesting perspective, isn't it? January through October. If you rent, it's January through September is the average. And look at this. I think that this is going to be really interesting as well. Let me present this to you. Let me share the screen here on, I'm going to do the window. I'm going to do this. I'm going to share this. And I'm going to go here. Average value. Do you know what the average value of a rental property is in the United States? According to Google, it's $365,000. $365,000 is the net average. Let's see. The net cash flow is $100 to $200 per unit, according to Google. Now, obviously, there's people in the chat. I would love to get actual data here. So make sure you put in your data on what you are netting from a cash flow standpoint and what the average value of your properties are. But interesting stats, right? And then you look at, well, how much do we get to avoid taxes, right? We own real estate. The government doesn't want to own a lot of real estate itself. It doesn't want to manage a lot of real estate itself. So they encourage us to go out and buy rental properties. And really the rough numbers there are 3.7. Okay. If you take the value of your property and times it by 3, it's technically 3.636. You get how much that you can deduct from your taxes. Now, remember this, guys. It's not just, my property is worth 300,000, 3.7. It's about $12,000 there, less maybe $10,000 a year that I can write off on my taxes. Yes, it reduces your tax basis. Don't let me lose you guys here. You guys are all top tier audience here. But there's some people that aren't real familiar with depreciation and how that works. But how many properties? This is what I'm getting to. How many properties do you need to be financially free? How many properties do you need to own before your cash flow goes back to this thing here? And I'm going to jump all around because I just love doing this. It goes back to this, right? It goes back to what is your where are you at in the cash flow quadrant, right? Well, we know that E is an employee. We know S is self-employed. We know B is a business owner and I is an investor. So are you an employee that's putting money into your portfolio as an investor to get the cash flow to be able to cover all of your expenses? How many properties do you need to own? How many properties do you need to own to be able to do that? If it's $200 and by the way, this is to replace your income and not pay taxes. Remember, on the average rental property, according to Google, you can reduce your tax basis by $10,000. So if you make $120,000, you need 12 properties to not pay income tax. Interesting, right? Isn't this interesting when we really look at what's going on? But then what is the number to get you out of this side, to get you out of here? How much do you have to make to be able to go and be self-employed? To work for yourself, because that's where we go, right? That's the point of Wholesale Hotline, is to give you all the tools that you need through Jerry's channel, Jerry Norton's channel, Flipping Mastery, Pace Morby's channel, Subto, Jamil Damji's channel, the Astro Flipping, and Keegley. How many deals do you have to do to replace your current income? Well, if the average deal size as a real estate wholesaler is $15,000, is it one deal? Is it two deals? How many deals a month do you have to be able to do to be able to come over here and then be self-employed? To be self-employed here. Sorry, my little things to get into this zone, right? And then once you're self-employed and you start getting into the rhythm of building a business, now we get into the real good stuff. Now we get into firing ourselves. Or you stay as a self-employed, you get all of these properties, you cherry pick the best ones that you find for yourself, you keep them in your portfolio until you get to the point where you've got enough cash flow to be able to cover your expenses, right? It's this whole thing. We've all seen it. We've all read Rich Dad, Poor Dad for the most part. We all know this. It's an income statement and balance sheet. How much income do we need to replace? Is it 5K? Is it 10K? Is it 15K? How much income do we need from our real estate efforts? And then from there, how many people do we have to talk to on a daily, weekly basis? And how many offers do we need to make to be able to hit those goals? And I'd be interested if you guys will just put in the chat here. By the way, this is going to be wide open for a tremendous amount of questions. So if you've ever been holding your tongue or holding your thumbs and not putting in, because we have a lot of different hosts on, we have a lot of different thoughts, and we kind of go back and forth. Guys, this is a really good opportunity to get any questions that you have answered. I'll do it to the best of my ability. But what does your income look like? What does your expenses look like here? And what are you putting in your assets from your income? right? That's why the whole cash flow quadrant is like, hey, listen, you can put in a certain amount of assets from being an employee, but if you're self-employed, you now control how much more you can put in there until you're at the point where you're actually hiring other people again and being a business owner. And then it really starts running. Now you start getting multiple arrows going in here because you got multiple streams of income, and then you put them into assets, right? That's the whole point, is buying assets. That's how you build wealth, is buying assets. Anybody can get rich. Anybody can make that money from this business. I promise you this with all the conviction that I can muster. If you talk to enough people that own ugly houses, you will never have to worry about your earned income again. Let me say that again. Earned income. Much different than the income that I think we all are thinking about. Passive income. Interesting. So how do we get there? How do we start building that momentum? Right? How do we replace? What is your number? That's the question I want to ask you now. This isn't just sit back and do, and be a voyeur here. Participate. How much income do you need, or how much money do you have to have in an account to be able to go from being an employee to self-employed, to being able to be a full-time real estate entrepreneur? Sure, you're self-employed. Sure, you're swinging the hammer, right? Or swinging the axe, chopping wood, carrying water. You're doing all the work. You should be in the dirt in this phase. You should be really earning it in this phase, because this is the phase that 90% fail, never make it here. And then the ones that make it here, 90% fail here. Why? Why does that happen? Because we let this get bananas, because our income matches our expenses. It's called the financial thermostat that we have inside of us. When our income rate rises, so does our expenses, and we get crazy here. We start buying a house. The house you live in is not an asset. It will appreciate, and you will make some money from it, but it takes money out of your pocket every time, right? What else do you have that's going into income that you can put into assets? Because your income is going to go into expenses. You're going to pay for kids. You're going to pay for braces. You're going to pay for schools. You're going to pay for books. You're going to pay for teachers. You're going to pay for all sorts of things, right? But what are you putting into the asset column? Do you have enough to, according to the stats that we pulled up as soon as we started, we don't have enough to put into the asset column. We only have, what is it? Let me see here. We only have $15,000 to $20,000 for living expenses, for healthcare for our family, for food, for gas. That all comes out of the yearly living expenses. We have to do better. We have to provide more value. We have to do scarier things. We have to do scarier things. We have to be brave. We have to go and have the courage to go out there and really do everything possible to serve our communities as much as possible. That's the only way that our income goes up. I'm trying to get this laid out so it looks good. Did you remove it, Matt? There we go. But we have to do better. We have to find a way. There we go. Thank you, Matt. To increase the amount of income so that we could put it into assets. And some people have been asking, Brent, what assets do you buy? Right? Obviously businesses. I'm really big about cash flow businesses. My wholesaling business is an asset that is putting in, I don't have to work in that business, and that puts into my pocket. And this is just not messing with you guys, $30,000 to $50,000 a month. I'm in that just to be in it a bit, but that helps out a lot. I've got 2 free and clear rental properties. Rentals that does about $5,000 a month. I don't talk about this a lot, but I own in a holdings company 708 storage units, Class A storage units. And we are developing, by the way, 4,000 more in the next 18 months. Right? what are you buying for assets? I've got partial ownership in CRM companies, affiliates are a really great asset for some of the picks and shovels that we use every day. And so it's looking at this thing going, okay, how do I go and really start taking the action? I might be an employee now. I might be self-employed now, but how do I really take it to the next level to be able to hire really great people to replace myself and really focus on where the wealthy really, really, really spend the most of their time? And that's in the investments. Does this make sense? Awesome. There you go. So that's where that's at. Just guys, we got to do more. We got to talk to more people. We got to make more offers. We got to be louder, right? We got to be really proud about what we do. We have to keep focused and just make sure that we understand how to build our skills here. When a lead comes in, what kind of lead is it? Is it a retail lead? Is it an innovation? Is it a cash as is that we would use as a wholesale deal? Is it a flip? Is it a buy and hold? The other one is like a buy and lend. You can certainly do some wraps. We still got to add that, Matt. We'll get that on there. But guys, it all starts with a conversation with a property owner that has a property that needs some love. Everything starts from that. So how many are we going to talk to this week? What's going to be our minimum standard? You have to find the nooks and the crannies in your schedule that will allow you to build this thing. Because you can go out every day. I have this terrible analogy. I don't know if it hits or not. But you can go out every day and you can hunt. And you can bring home, and you can go get up every morning and you can hunt. And you can bring home what you find. And you can go and hunt and bring home what you find. At some point, you're going to have to build a fence. You're going to have to put what you hunt in that fence, and you're going to have to nurture that. And you're going to have to be, and that's a business versus a job. A job is every day you go out, you eat what you kill, and then you got to do it the next day. But at some point on your off times, when you're back from hunting and there's downtime, you got to build a fence, and you got to get those animals in that fence. You got to build a real farm. You got to build something that you don't have to go out and hunt every single morning. You just nurture what you build. And that's a business. That's the difference between a job and a business. And I hope that sits with you guys, because I am telling you, this is the best business ever. What is the barrier to entry on this thing? You need a cell phone, Wi-Fi, and a maybe even like a iPad or something. You don't even need a full-on computer. You could probably just do this with your phone. So many great opportunities to go after all of these lists, driving for dollars, on the market properties that are just sitting there and they look rough. Tired landlords. They don't want to deal with their tenants anymore. They did the old school handshake with the tenants. Don't call me when things break and I won't increase your rents. And 15, 20 years later, those properties have to sell for cash. Utility turnoff lists, expired listings, vacant land, for sale by owners, unknown equity in properties that you can pull right off of resources that we talk about all the time. You could do it right here off of Jerry's website, PropWire. I'll pull it up right now. Boom. Jerry's PropWire website. You can pull all these here. You can pull them all right here. It's all there at your fingertips. Okay. Where's those other ones? Here it is. Owner occupied with equity. And then you can reverse wholesale lists, right? You can literally go on and get on wholesale lists from other wholesalers in your town. And you can see all the properties that they put out. And you could find and have conversations with cash buyers. And you could sell them the properties that you see on the list. That happens every single day. Every single day, people are selling that. The number one list for us, by the way, is U.S. Leads List. It's a pre-probate. Oh, hold on. I'll show you. Stop sharing. I'll go here. Present. Share screen. This is, if it's available in your marketplace, you are silly not to get it. A lot of areas are sold out, which is frustrating for people. But if it's available in your market or any markets that you're interested, I would highly suggest. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Really great list there, guys. It's a pre-probate. We do a lot of business with people that have inherited properties. My business has moved 100% over to inbound leads from pay-per-click, from Facebook leads, and from TV. Right now, I just increased my budget to $100,000 a month that we're spending. And the expectation is to close $100,000 a week. We're doing a really good job of it. But this is just starting, so stay tuned. Let's see how I do in 90 days and 6 months. Either we're doing a really great job, or I need to make some adjustments. But isn't that the best part about this business? We learn when we screw it up. We learn when we test things. We learn when we fail. We learn when we pick up a phone and some seller throws some wacky curveball at us and we don't know how to respond to them. And then all of a sudden you start understanding, okay, if they say this to me, I'm going to write down 2 responses and I'm going to really learn those responses so that I'm never uncomfortable again. Right? That's how we learn here. That's how we grow. That's how we develop. That's how we get the experience. And by the way, if you look at where Pace is at from an investor standpoint, where Jerry's at, where Jamil's at, where I'm at, this is years, decades of looking at deals, at sitting back and making every mistake in the book. It wasn't that long ago. Pace lost $1 million because a guy BK'd on him when he was doing a bunch of the work for this guy. And he lost $1 million. Boom. Right. Overnight. Right. Jamil lost everything in the crash. I lost everything in the crash. Jerry was living in an RV with like 6 kids, like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? I mean, he's been building it up, and maybe that was just a lifestyle thing to challenge himself. But guys, I am telling you, you stay diligent to this thing for 60 months, 5 years. I don't think that there's any way that you don't have $1 million net worth or $1 million business. I just don't see it. The problem we have is we get distracted by everything. We're trying to figure everything out. We're trying to find the easy path. There is no easy path. There's no easy deal, by the way. The problems that we solve as wholesalers, and take wholesalers and just put it off to the side. As deal finders, as people that go out every single day and find opportunities. That's really that's where the money's made. We make the money when we buy the property. Remember that. They say it's location, location, location. It's really just how you buy it, right? You could pay $1 million for any property if the terms are right. You can negotiate incredible price on $1 million property if the motivation's right, if the problem's big enough. Remember, people want to trade price for speed and convenience. Can you put that graphic up, Matt? And guys, Matt's going to star questions. So as we're going through this, make sure that you're asking your questions. We're going to go through a lot of questions. If there are some, if they're not, then I'll just give you what I got, guys. Give you great energy, hopefully. Give you great enthusiasm for the week, and then set you on your way. But I hope that there's some questions here. And we'll get to that. But if there's celebrations, if you've locked up a deal, if you just closed on a deal and want to ring this victory bell, you know, I want to celebrate you. I want to give some energy there. But what we're looking for as wholesalers, as deal finders, are people that want to trade price for speed and convenience. That's what we're looking for. They want to get out of a situation. And so there's no way for us to do that unless we're in front of them. So how are you going to be in front of them? Either they call you, that's called marketing. You call them, that's called prospecting. Or somebody that they know, like, and trust refers you over. That's called referrals. That's the only ways that you get deals. And most of us start off with being wildly proactive, door knocking, making offers to properties that are on the market, talking to a lot of real estate agents, see if they have any referrals for us, any deals that haven't hit the market yet. calling up a property owner, see if they would consider an offer on their property. All those things. There's only 3 ways to go out and find opportunities. What are you going to focus on? You're going to buy deals? You're going to earn them? You're going to build relationships? Or are you going to be more transactional? You don't want to wait around for it. It's important. I'll add this here. And this is where I think you should go. Because every time I look at somebody, I'm thinking I'm looking at 4 main factors, right? Are they part-time or full-time? Do they have money or no money for marketing? Are they new or experienced in any kind of sales? Because don't get this wrong. This is about sales. This is about service. This is about discovery. And people that don't know how to ask questions and really get into the personal nitty-gritty of what's going on with that property owner, it's really difficult for them to open up and for us to do business with them. So there are skills that are built there, and just human communication, which I would say is equal to, you could interchange that with sales. And then what's your market? Are you in a big market or are you in a small market? If you're part-time, you have no money, and you're new, these are what I would suggest. Very, very targeted direct mail, whether that be handwritten notes, whether that be postcards that you send out automatically through like a deal machine app. Referrals, obviously. Every single person should be posting on their stories every single day, I buy houses, and put your phone number. Everybody should have a Facebook account. Everybody should be posting, I buy houses. I buy houses. The difference between Facebook and Instagram on this strategy is Facebook, you can get into those groups and you can friend request everybody that's in real estate: investors, hard money lenders, title companies, private lenders, wholesalers, flippers, whatever it is, buy and hold guys. They're all in there. And you tell them, I want to buy houses. Realtors, friend request all of them to 5,000. Post every single day to your story, I buy houses. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. It's going to go. It will work. So that's where you build your referral base. And then right here, you either call up people or door knock or SMS. And I would probably just, with SMS going through the turbulence that it is with the carrier, it works on some level. And if that's all you can do, that's fine. But either you're making calls or you're making texts, or you're sending texts, or you're door knocking. That's it. Should you hire a VA? No. You will have no skills. Well, what if it's an AI VA? No. I'm just telling you, do the work. There's no getting out of the work. Should you do pay-per-click? No. Should you do pay-per-lead? No. You have no money. And that's fine. I want you to have no money. Because being broke is like rock bottom, and rock bottom is a strong foundation. Good. It's going to make you hardened. It's going to make you really respect the money that you make. Are you part-time, no money, but you have some experience? Same path. Part-time, you do have some money. Now we're getting into it. And you have some experience? Great. You got a little bit of experience. You feel good about once you get those leads in, you can convert them. Then we're talking maybe get a VA. Now we're talking put some money towards pay-per-leads. Are you full-time now? Woo, here we go. If you're full-time and you have no money and you're new, pound those phones, baby. This is your best friend. This is the remote control to society right here. And you get to control how many people you talk to. Right? Go bananas. Go absolutely bananas. Full-time, no money, but you have some experience. Great. Same path. You got some money. Now you're opening up. And then at the bottom is when you start getting bananas. And I'm telling you guys, without a doubt, the top of the pyramid is intent-based leads. Intent-based leads is only one resource. Typically. I mean, it could be somebody calling you off of an ad as well. But usually it's pay-per-click. Usually it's pay-per-click. That's the top of the pyramid, where somebody literally is searching, sell my house fast, sell for cash, sell my ugly house, sell without a realtor. We get these leads in all day long. all day long. That's what we get in. It's absolutely incredible. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 today so far. People filled out on our website. I want to buy. I want you to buy my house. You don't have to be a wildly talented salesperson for that. But good thing I have wildly talented sales guys for that. So that's inbound. Yeah. Once you get down to it, it's inbound. But remember this, whenever you're speaking to a property owner, they only get 2 of these: speed, convenience, and price. They only get to pick 2. They want speed and convenience. They get that's a wholesale deal. They want convenience and price. That is novation, because it's kind of like white glove treatment. You kind of take it over with with some documentation that allows you to sell that property for them. So it's hands off for them. But if they want speed and price, it's either creative financing or they put it on the market, because it is not convenient. It's not convenient. Convenient is you get cashed out. Not convenient is you hope that you get a payment every single month. Right? If they're being the bank, it's not convenient to keep your house clean when it's on the MLS. It's not convenient to put in all the repairs and make all the disclosures, fix up all the things that pop up on an inspection period. Got it? Awesome. You guys are amazing today. The love and the energy in the chat right now is, you guys are the best in the world. Nobody has an audience like this. Nobody. It's such a privilege to be up here speaking with you guys, answering questions, giving you real life examples of what's going on. There's no paid actors here. There's no fluff in any of it. It's just on this show, just people that love this industry and want everybody to win. Because I am telling you guys, the stats are for us. $143 million. I mean, 140, I think in dollars, everything. 143 million residential properties. 6 to 10% are in distress at all times. That's 10 to 14 million properties. 10 to 14 million properties. Will they all sell? No. But properties get worse every day. And new ones pop up. And new situations with property owners pop up. And so our job is to go out there, and there's way less of us than there is the deals. If you ask anybody, and you could go on any really big channel, really big investor channel, somebody that has 1,000 units plus, and you ask them the question, what's harder, raising funds for your deals or finding good deals? Every single one will say, finding good deals. That means we always have opportunity. That means that we always have something that we can provide value. We just have to be brave. We just have to do it. We just have to wake up every day with stars in our eyes and electricity coming out of our fingertips and a fire in our belly to go and have a conversation with a property owner and then make an offer. And the scaffolding of the conversation are the 4 pillars. You should memorize this. This should be known to your heart. This should be stamped. There should be, they should be able to open up your skull, and on your brain is tattooed condition of property, timeline to sell, motivation to sell, and price. Condition, timeline, motivation, price. Condition, timeline, motivation, price. That's like the little part. That's the 20% part. The 80% part is about the person, about the property owner. What is their goal? What is their real goal? Because remember, everybody starts off playing poker, right? Everybody starts off, hey, I don't want to show my cards. I don't want to do that, right? We got to get on the side of their table so that we can look at their cards and see what the right solution is for them. And by the way, the right solution might not be a creative offer. It might not be a cash offer. It might not be a subto. It might not be listing it on the market. It might not be innovation. It might not be self-serving for us. But we have to be able to discover that so we don't waste time with people that should not be doing business with us if what we're bringing to them are those solutions. But I'm telling you this, you build that internal pressure of them making the decision themselves, them coming to the conclusion themselves of what the best path for them to go down is. Woo! You win. We call it Heaven and Hell Island. Let me see if I still have this graphic. It's kind of a little messy, but I'll show you guys anyway. Hell Island is their current state. Heaven Island is their desired state. What is the bridge that they need to cross to go from Hell Island to Heaven Island? From going from a problem to a solution, their current situation to their desired situation. And how do you know what bridge is the best for them unless you discover what is Heaven Island to them? What is their desired state? The surface level, there's always going to be surface, but then there's emotional. Surface level is, oh, my tenants aren't paying the mortgage, aren't paying the rent. The emotional part is I have to dig into my savings to cover the mortgage so I don't get a late penalty on my loan that I have on my rental property. We gotta do a good job of finding out what is their current problem and what is the solution. We can't do that if we just stay about the property. What is really going on? Why are they really selling this property? That's what takes people from like doing a deal every so often to closing consistently. That takes somebody from working at their job every day as an employee and then moving over to self-employed. That's what it creates. That's why I say you got to get into the dirt. You got to get into the grind. You got to get into the tough time where you're going to doubt yourself. You're going to have distractions. You're going to have disappointments. But massive imperfect action knocks all that. Being around people that are doing this business knocks out all of that. Being supported, being cheerleaded, having a foundation to build your confidence off of. It's all coaching and teaching is. Who's your teacher? Who's teaching you? Seriously. You just, Willie, are you just taking bits and pieces of this and doing whatever? That's fine. Everybody works different. I was just paid for coaching. I had a coach since 2012, one-on-one, $1,000 a month. Boom, boom, boom. Then now I'm in coaching that's $100,000 a year. Just different teachers. But I mean, it's like, I'm talking about a lot of this rich dad stuff and I'm really digging back into it. And there's a quote that they say that the most important piece of real estate is the 6 inches between our ears, right? It's kind of a silly saying, but you get it. The best investment is in that. The best investment is in your skills. Are you investing in your skills? Are you investing in working? Are you investing in meeting people? Are you investing in being around people that understand what you're trying to accomplish? Because I'll tell you what, I go to a lot of school events. I coach a lot of kids, soccer. I go to family events. I go to church. You have conversation. What do you do? Yeah, and I wholesale houses, and you will literally see people's eyes glass over. I flip houses. I'm a real estate entrepreneur. I'm a real estate flipper. I'm a real estate. I own real estate. I'm a real estate investor. Oh, that's cool. Cool. No idea. You got to be around people. Got to be around people that are doing this business and doing it at a high level, getting the encouragement and squatting up. That's the whole heart of the show. Squat up. So let's get to some questions. I think I can step off my soapbox here, guys. But I love this business. everybody can do this business. It's just little steps all along the way. You got to really understand that it's not about just the check at the end of the day or your name on a deed at the end of the day on title. It is about the small actions we take every single day. It's about stacking the small wins. You got in your car, that's a win. You drove out of your driveway, that's a win. You went down the street and you found a couple ugly houses and you wrote them down, that's a win. You found the contact information for those owners, that's a win. You called them, huge win. Just stack those wins. Got it? Awesome. Let's start going on some questions. Jamie, I pulled a tired landlord list. A lot are deceased. My question is, how do I tackle these leads when I contact next of kin? I need a step-by-step help, LOL. Well, one, with a tremendous amount of empathy. But you're calling about the property there, right? And Jamie, if you don't have a lot of experience with this, just rely on my experience, rely on the people in here's experience, and connect with somebody that has some experience doing inherited properties or probate. And then you say, we specialize in working with people that are inheriting property from their family. We understand it's a very difficult time. We want to be real respectful about the process, but we wanted to see what your plan was with the property. And then just be quiet, right? What is going on with it? What's your plan with the property? And then just boom, 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 boom. Just keep that conversation going. But you got to do it. You got to use your tone of voice. You can't be too aggressive, right? You got to be really soft and caring. And you got to listen to their responses. Not crazy. But that's how you start building up that experience with people that are inheriting those properties. And by the way, 80% of them sell within the first 90 days of new ownership. So great list, great opportunity, great people to build a business around, and nothing feels better than helping them out. Because I am telling you from personal experience with my own family, but also with a lot of the people that we help out, it is a nightmare when the knives come out to slice up the pie of assets from grandma and grandpa or whoever, mom and dad, or aunt and uncle, or whatever it is, right? Everybody's waiting for that because they have no money. They have no money. They have no savings. Go Google what the average savings is. So having a lump sum of money dropped on you from an inheritance, it gets ugly, it gets nasty. I've seen some really close families get shredded during this process. And for you to be able to help those people is really, really awesome. So I love serving that avatar, the inherited. That's what US Leads List is, by the way. Jose, I've been cold calling for a very long time. Haven't been able to lock up any deals. What should my next be to get my first wholesale deal? Love it. Context, a very long time is subjective. So I don't know what that is, right? A very long time could be 3 hours. A very long time could be you've called 150 hours, 1,000 hours, whatever it is, right? The stats for cold calling, if you're doing it yourself consistently and you're building up your skills, is usually one deal out of 200 conversations. Now, how long does it take you to get a conversation? Typically, if you're using a dialer, you can get between 10 and 15 conversations an hour. So let's go on the low end of that. That's 20 hours of calls to get a deal. Here's the kicker. When you make contact with somebody, the average between the day that you make contact with them and the day that you get paid on that is 100 days. 100 days. Okay? So you might be planting seeds that you don't know are about to sprout. They're under the ground. They're under the dirt. You're like, oh, I'll just throw my hands up. And then all of a sudden they sprout. Somebody else gets it. So you got to go 90 straight days, totally consistent, right? You have to be really diligent. You got to listen to your calls. You got to see what's going on there. And remember, the first 5 seconds of a conversation gets you the next 30 seconds. So if you're going with Mr. or Mrs., sir or ma'am, all of that stuff, they're going to hang up on you. They're going to hang up with you. You got to sound like somebody they've already spoke to. Hey, Jose, it's Brent Daniels. How are you? What? You know what I mean? Yeah. Actually, the reason for my call is I was looking to buy a property in your area, and I saw your property at 1212 Banana Street, and I was just reaching out to you to see if you would consider an offer on your property there. Then there's only 6 responses, Jose. Yes, no, maybe. How much will you give me? Who are you? And how'd you get my number? I've had 45,000 of those conversations. Right? And so there's only 6 responses. So as long as you learn how to respond to those responses, you're off and running. Okay? So stay in the saddle. If you are terrible on the phone, listen to your recordings. Why? Where does it fall off? Is it the first 5 seconds? Is it the next 30 seconds? Jose, yeah, who's this? My name is Brent Daniels. And before you hang up on me, I know you're getting a bunch of calls about your property at 1212 Banana Street, and I don't want to waste your time. Just hear me out. And then after that, you can hang up on me or tell me to never call again or whatever it is. But I wanted to see if I could just talk to you for a few minutes. Is that okay? Yeah. Permission. Great. What's your plans with that property? What do you mean? Have you thought about selling it? Have you thought about being the bank on it? Have you thought about, guys, have fun. Have fun. Every Monday, by the way, in the Rhino Tribe in Wholesaling Inc., we do empty the clip. 100 contacts in one day. New contacts, not lead follow-up, not inbound, all outbound. Empty the clip every Monday. They do it live on a Zoom call. And usually, I don't know, sometimes 5 people make it, sometimes 15 people make it. That's a tough challenge. Empty the clip, talk to 100 new property. It takes you all day. It takes you 6 to 8 hours. Eugene Latson out of Maryland did 100 contact challenge the whole month of July. 31 straight days, Sundays too, Saturdays too. Every day. Put $260,000 on the board. That's what he's going to close. I'm just saying. This isn't, the metrics are all there. The facts are all there. You talk to enough people, you'll win. You cannot lose. It's impossible. Absolutely impossible. If you talk to enough people, you will win. So, Jose, 1, very strong optimism. You don't listen to any music in the car if you're by yourself. You only listen to this podcast or other podcasts that inspire you. Only put it in positive, optimistic things, because I'm telling you, as an entrepreneur, it'll be the hardest challenge of your life. Nothing's even close to it. Nothing's close to it, because everything else is involved with it. Money isn't everything. Money isn't the most important, but it affects everything that is. Everything. Health, opportunities, doors that get opened. Everything. Let's go. James, do you think somebody starting in this business is better off spending marketing budget on motivated seller lists or PPL, I speed to lead? It depends, James. There's 2 different strategies here. Are you going to go local or are you going to go more national? There's two main camps here, right? There's I'm going to build a brand. I'm going to be the guy or gal in my marketplace that people know buys and sells houses. I'm going to have a marketing channel that is really deep, but I have different exit strategies that I get really good at. Just start with one in the beginning. Just start with wholesaling. Just assign it if you can in your state, which most you can. You either stay local or you go with an I speed to lead. You buy a bunch of the cheaper leads nationwide, you lock them up, and you find somebody that puts them on investor lift. You either do it yourself or you have somebody else do it. And then you're just trying to sell as many deals as possible. With that model, this is the facts. I don't care what funnel you're in. with anybody else that's telling you this, but if you look under the cover of those nationwide businesses that lock up a lot of deals, 70 to 80% cancellation rate. 70 upwards to 90% cancellation rate. That means you lock up a deal, seller thinks you're buying the deal, you can't sell it, you got to cancel during the inspection period so you don't lose your earnest money or tie up the seller for very long. So I've seen a lot of people go nation, and then they pick the 5 or 6 markets that they really know, and then they really go deep in those. And so, listen, James, inbound leads are always going to be an easier conversation. They literally put in their information. They literally said, somebody give me an offer. It's awesome. It's fantastic. Average deal cost in major markets is going to be $500 a lead. Let me say that again. Average cost per lead, not deal. $500 in major markets, probably about $300 to $350 in smaller markets. Maybe lower if you're in the outskirts. Maybe $150 to $200. But you're anywhere from 12 to 15 of those leads per deal. So you're anywhere from 6 to 7,500 in a major market for inbound, and 3 to 5 for smaller markets inbound. So do you have the budget? And it doesn't, listen, if you can only afford $2,000 a month, but you can do that for 3 straight months and get a deal once every 3 months, and it's $15,000 and it costs you $6 and you net $9. Does it make sense? I think there's a tipping point for when you want inbound versus outbound, to be honest. I think outbound kind of gets you to the first like 100,000, 250,000. And then you start investing in the inbound. It just depends on what your life is. But I will tell you this, if you get inbound leads, you better answer those live. If they call you, it's live. If they put in the information, you call back within 30 seconds or it's gone. And you triple tap. Boom, no answer. Boom, no answer. Boom, no answer. Leave a voicemail. Leave a text 30 minutes later, triple tap. 30 minutes later, triple tap. 30 minutes later, triple tap. 2 hours later, triple tap. 15 calls first day. They'll respond or they'll block you. And then you just call from some other number and try to get a hold of them. It's kind of crazy that people will put their information in and then not respond. But some people are off doing other things. They're distracted or they don't know who you are. So important stuff there. Great question. Times masquerade. Feel like there's a bit of mystery there. What's the best method of finding off-market properties? It's inbound or outbound. So either go and use these lists and get the go after the most likely people to sell at a discount directly. You reach out to them, or buy leads in a certain area, and they'll reach out to you. So great question, but it just depends on your budget, depends on your experience, depends on your schedule. If your schedule's really congested, guys, and you're in the military, you're driving trucks, you're a teacher, you're a nurse, you're a doctor, you're an attorney, you have responsibilities where you can't just drop everything and jump on a lead call, it's really tough to do inbound. Really tough, because you're going to miss that deal. You're going to miss that 30 seconds window, and then you're going to be chasing all the time, and that $300 to $500 is gone. So if you're just starting out, PPL is a really good option actually to turn on and off during the times that you're available. So if you've got $2,000 a month and you could put it towards pay per lead, I would make sure you turn it on when you get off work and turn it off when you go to bed. And then, the weekends or your lunch hour, you can turn them on then. Just make sure that you can get on the phone with them instantly. Cool. Choice Crosby -RE. I like that picture. That looks nice. Tropical. I want to wholesale virtually and don't know how to pick a market. Awesome. I would go major market. If you look at the stats, Robert Wednesday, we'll get him on here, owns Investor Lift. But the stats on major markets versus minor markets are staggering. I mean, it is just a fortune's being made in major markets. I mean, there's some good money making, in the smaller, but I would highly suggest you pick a major market and pick an area that you understand. Is this a deal or not a deal? Or do you have somebody that can be your backup? Is this a deal or not a deal? Because that's the most confusing part, right? I sounded like Seinfeld. No, but that is the most confusing part when we're starting out is this a deal or not a deal? That's what keeps us from taking action. In my opinion, coaching, over 3,500 students personally, that's the biggest thing is they're like, oh my gosh, I want to join the coaching because I want you to review the deals. And I just don't know if this is a good deal and at what price. And so being able to pick a market that you understand, is this a good deal or not a good deal? And if you just want just basic back of the napkin math, this will let you know if it's a decent deal for wholesale, for ugly houses. These are for properties in original condition or worse. If they're 250,000 or more on Zestimate, you want to be around 50%. If they're 250 to 100, you want to be 35. If they're 100 or less, 10%. Okay. That's how that's going to be okay. You're going to make a lot of mistakes there. You're going to learn how to sharpen your pencil because you're either you're going to be beat out by a lot of other offers or you're going to lock them up too high. But listen, babies fall down. That's how you learn. That's how you learn to walk. Any new skill. Go pick up a golf club for the first time and go do a round. Go pick up a tennis racket and try to serve. Go shoot a 3-point shot. Go dribble with your left hand if you've never dribbled before and you're right-handed. You know what I mean? Go try to fly fish for the first time. It takes time to build skills. Enjoy it. Because once you build a skill, nobody can take it away. Good economy, bad economy, good real estate market, bad real estate market, inflation, less inflation, right? High interest rates, low interest rates. You find the deal, you win. Walter Jeter, how much money should you have to start inbound? Inbound, I would say at least $2,000 a month for 3 months. That's the minimum standard. I would love it if it's 5. Unless, listen, you can do inbound where it's like I did this in the beginning when I couldn't get a hold of people on the phone or door knocking them. I would do a handwritten note and send it to them first class, and got a few deals that way. It was just handwritten, kind of generic, but gave me a good call to action. So you could do some of that. That's fine. Just make sure that your phone number on there pops up as a caller ID as a different number so that you know to answer it, right? Postcard call, just label it. And you could do that through CallRail. CallRail's who we use. And so, yeah, I would say 2,000 minimum, 6,000 for 3 straight months, and preferably about 15,000 and $5,000 for 3 straight months. Okay. Sorry if I missed this, but FT money new. What is the money amount? Yeah, Ben. Same answer essentially. Yeah, I mean, if you have some money and you have some experience and you want to try out a virtual assistant to make the calls, great. Go bananas. People are using AI to do it. I mean, go bananas. It'll eventually get shut down, but if the window's open, try it, I guess. So, I mean, the money factor, I would just say from in your mind, if you're just thinking about it, Ben, if I would just pull out an answer, I'd say 5,000 a month. Leo, hi at Brent. For somebody living internationally, awesome, with a time zone upside down, I want to get into the wholesaling game, but I need advice on what my focus should be. I think flipping wouldn't work because he's somewhere. Yeah, flipping won't work, Leo. Wholesaling is the perfect option. Perfect option. I mean, yeah, because I'm hands-on. Yeah, I would, because he can't be hands-on for flipping. Yeah, wholesaler innovation. Go crazy. Yeah. That's what I would do. Find, go into the 48 states that allow wholesaling. And, most of the states don't require a license. So go for it. Yeah. Esteban, when starting to learn sales and building relationships, what are some steps you would take to start off? Talk to a lot of strangers. Esteban, that's it. I mean, I would I would get out there and I would make as many calls as you can, have as many conversations as you can, and just understand that you're trying to understand the condition, timeline, motivation, price about the property. But in that, you should be finding out what is the goal of that property owner. What's their goal? If it's speed and convenience, then they got to work with your price. So that's it. Listen, you're going to learn so much by listening, by understanding that 80% is discovery, by being genuinely curious. Every day, as my 7-year-old Bo is going out the door, or I'm walking him to school, I say, what are you going to be? And he says, kind, confident, and curious. Kind, confident, and curious. That's how you win it, Esteban. Kind, confident, curious. That's the tone that you want. That's the poise, the posture that you want when you're speaking with property owners. Cool. Awesome. Alan, Brent, what is your personal opinion of direct to agent MLS lead generation strategy? I love it. I don't do it. I think it's great. But the people that do it, Jerry, Norton, Jamil, they build big businesses around it. I think it's great. I think it's a few steps up. I think you got to be really good at having a strong presentation with that agent. You need a lot of training for that. You need proof of funds for that, for sure. You need 1% earnest deposit typically for that to lock up that deal. You need to be able to feel comfortable speaking with real estate agents. So you need a lot of reps with it. You need to understand that a lot of agents, if your plan is to lock up a deal that's on the MLS and then you blast it out to a tremendous amount of buyers and or investor lift, that agent's going to find out about it. They're going to find out about it. And then they're going to start getting real nervous that you can't close that deal. So there's just some things that you have to understand there. That's why I think Jamil's strategy of building really, really great relationships with buyers that buy in specific areas and just privately selling those deals to them as opposed to getting it out to everybody is a better strategy there, Alan. I've got Janet out of California locked up 2 or 3 deals in the last week. And every agent has saw her deals get put out there. And they're high price points in LA and surrounding areas. And so these agents, I mean, they're looking at, I'm getting 2% on 800,000, I'm getting 2% on 1.1. You better close this because this is $16,000 to $20,000 going into my agent pocket. Well, the agent pocket and the broker's pocket. But so just to say that they get very nervous and they'll start blowing you up and they'll start getting real nasty if you're not doing inspections, if you're not sending over contractors, if you're not moving that deal really fast. So if you have a deal that's on the MLS, make sure you sell it fast. Make sure you get a buyer committed to that deal as soon as possible. Because if you lollygag on that, if you just take your time, it just won't help. It won't work. And the agents are going to come after you with forks and knives, ready to eat you alive. So different, listen, I go direct to seller for a couple reasons. I think it's because I was kind of honed in the foreclosure auction days where you had to be really fast. Nobody else knew about the deals. except for, the guys down at the auction, and you got really, really, really smoking deals when people either didn't know to bid or they ran out of money. And so I just see out there way more properties that are off the market than on the market. And I've just, in my experience, have gotten really big, massive, awesome deals off market. And so, but listen, MLS, it is a pond full of fish. I mean, they want to sell. You don't have to get over that point. The timeline is now. If they get an offer that is acceptable, they'll go. They're obviously motivated. It's on the market. Maybe not motivated at the right price. You have to see that. And you know what their price is. So all of the pre-qualifying, the condition, timeline, motivation, price, you already know when it's on the market. So you don't even have to do discovery there. You just have to ask the questions. Is it still available? What offers have they rejected? What's the plan with the property if they can't get the price that they're looking for? Are they open to being the bank on it? And what other listings do you have that I can buy that's in really rough shape? 5 questions. Boom, 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 boom. You do that enough. Walter, biggest wholesale deal. I'm just reading off of here. What was it? 172, something like that. Yeah. 172. Marcellus, Brent, what's your experience wholesaling apartments? I hear you can get fat assignments. Yeah. We don't do a lot of them. Not a lot of multifamily. Honestly, the Phoenix was kind of developed later. I'm real jealous of you Midwest and East Coast investors that have a lot of multifamily. It just wasn't a big priority for early Phoenix development. And so we don't run across a lot of it. Wholesaling apartments can be really great. You're stepping into commercial zone, Marcellus. And let me explain to you what goes on with commercial agents. Commercial agents, for the first 5 years to 10 years of their career, pound the phones all day long. All day long, they're calling every single multifamily zoned property possible every day. Hundreds of them. Hundreds of new and up and coming commercial brokers pound the phones. And so they know the deals, they know the buyers, they know they want to get the listings. So you're up against a lot of competition with that, a tremendous amount of competition. And if you don't understand the metrics of a wholesale deal or apartment deal, you could think it's a really great deal, but it's not. And so, yeah, Jamil did get started that way in Canada, but it wasn't like 100 units, the smaller stuff. He also lost all his money that way, by the way. So, awesome. Guys, I've gone through all the starred questions. I don't know if, Matt, you have any more in there. But great show. Thank you, guys. Thank you for participating. Thank you for bringing great energy. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you guys today. Jerry was traveling from Portland. Jamil is at some retreat, I think, and Pace is doing a charity event. So you guys are stuck with me today, which happens every so often. I think in 5 years of doing the show, or 4 years of doing the show, it's happened maybe a handful of times. So thank you. By the way, guys, we do this. We have a lot of fun. We do a lot of giveaways. I have a lot of really awesome guests on my live show on the Brent Daniels YouTube channel every Wednesday. So if you could, and you're not already, make sure you go to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell so that you get notified of those live question and answer events, and bringing really, really, really top talent, really like true multimillionaires in. I interview them for maximum 15 minutes because I want to keep the attention span there, but I also want to pull out the most. I don't want it to be some rambling nonsense. I want to get the goodie and then move on. So there you go. Yeah, I'll do this right here. I'll put up this list again for US lead list. US lead list is just usleadlist.com. US lead list. But guys, I truly believe this, and let me know what you guys think in the chat. Is this going to pop up here? Let me get rid of this. Oh, remove. Let me get this thing going. This cash flow quadrant, when I look at this, I used to think when I was younger, I was like, okay, well, I can get a job because I read this. I got the Rich Dad Poor Dad book when I was 18. I got it for high school graduation in 2000. 40, by the way, I'm 43 on Sunday, September 1st. So there you go. To do a little math there. Employee, I thought, you get a really good job and then you just buy a bunch of rental properties and that would be great. And then I was like, wait a second, why don't I just get my real estate license? That kind of feels like a job still, but I have a little bit more control. So then I did that. And then I kind of became self-employed and I was like, okay, I'll do this type of thing. And then I'll just buy assets over here and do this type of thing. Right. And that's where I was for a while until I really established, because I thought, I'll just go self-employed. I'll stay on the courts. I'll make the calls. I'll dictate my own income. And then I'll just put the excess into investments and then I'll get cash flow and that'll be able to pay all my bills. And boom, I'm out of the rat race. You know what I mean? I'm out of hunting every single day. But then I realized, wait a second. People want to be around me while I do this. Why don't I start a real business? Why don't I make wholesaling? Why don't I wholesale properties and flip properties? And with that, I'll have enough income to do marketing. And then I'll hire some people to do the sales calls and go on the appointments. And then I'll hire somebody to sell those deals and to review all of it and to organize all the fix and flip properties and all the contractors. And then I'll just worry about making sure that we have enough income to put into the top of the funnel to get enough leads, and then it feeds itself. So then I created a business. And now I was like, holy cow, wait a second. This business pays all my expenses. It's $30,000 to $50,000 a month. This is incredible. And I don't get too crazy because I don't like consumer debt. So I don't have a car payment. I don't have credit card debts. I still use credit cards because I get all the miles. By the way, guys, I took my whole team on a $60,000 vacation, first class tickets, a travel, the shuttles to go to an all-inclusive in where was it? Playa del Carmen, right by Tulum and Cancun, and all of that. It was beautiful. $60,000, everything paid for my whole team from credit card points. I just put everything on my credit card, paid it off every single month, and then just built that up, and got a free vacation out of it. Now imagine if, as I grow my business, as I'm spending $100,000 a month in marketing, putting that to it, and everything else, all the other expenses to it. I mean, I'm going to be able to do the craziest vacations of all time for free. Come on, baby. This is the best business of all time. But you got to be a business owner. You got to get to the point where you got that passive cash flow coming from businesses. And then you could put all that good stuff into investments. And that allowed me, because the business was running itself, it allowed me to teach, which I believe is why I was on this planet, is to teach. I wanted to be a teacher. My freshman year at Northern Arizona University, I was in the education program. I was going to be a teacher. Then I realized, holy cow, you can teach anything. You don't have to stay in the school system. And then I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, talks about the school system and how they don't teach anything about money. And I understood that I wanted to make a bunch of money because I wanted to have a bunch of things. My ego wanted to be inflated and all those things, right? But I also wanted to take care of people, and I wanted to be able to have opportunities, and I didn't want to ever say I can't afford it. I wanted to say, how can I afford it? And then I just kept pulling on that thread and pulling on that thread and pulling on the thread. Got my real estate license, and then started building a business that found ugly houses and got big checks. Did it myself until I was able to hire incredible people that are way better. Every single person in my wholesaling business is way better than me at every role they're in. Way better. Way better. They talk about it all the time. Hey, Chad, my junior acquisition manager. He goes, hey, you at your absolute best, Brent, versus Ryan. Who wins? Ryan every time. Every time. Every time. Beat me like a drum. He would beat me like a drum. But passive cash flow comes from businesses. It doesn't just come from the investments. It can come from business as well. And so that's why I encourage you, go out and find some deals. Go out and find some deals, replace your income, get consistency, build a big, heavy, healthy bank account, and replace yourself in your business. Fire your boss first, and then fire yourself from the roles in the business. That's how you get out of that. That's how you start building up your asset column. That's how you have time to build up your asset column. If you think you could just sit back and you're just going to put it in the stock market, you're going to put it into crypto, you're going to put it into all these passive things, and it's going to give you cash flow eventually. Maybe. But I'm telling you this, you have a bunch of equity in properties. You get some good rentals, get some good multifamily, get some good storage units. Woo! You either pay those off or keep leveraging them to buy more and more and more. And then you get twice as many as you need, and you sell half of them and pay all the rest of them off. And then your cash flow goes through the roof because you don't have debt payments anymore, but you still have depreciation to the tune of $12,000 that knocks down your personal income every single year. How many units do you need to not pay any taxes? Legally. So awesome. So awesome. Love you guys. Join me Wednesday if you have some time. Thank you for participating. You guys are more powerful than you know. You're gonna absolutely change your community, change the industry, the areas that you're at, and you can change this industry. But it's collaboration over competition. It's being kind, confident, and curious in all things in this business, and having the bravery to go through that fire of being self-employed, of all the fears, every fear you can imagine creeping up into your brain, and having to swallow that down every single day to build it up and build an actual business out of this thing. You'll do it. You can do this. You got to stay super, super hungry. You got to wake up every day like you have zero money in your accounts, zero opportunities, zero leads, zero appointments, zero things pending. And you got to do that for years and years and years and years and years. And you get better and better and better. And you will fail. You'll lose it all. Then you'll build it back up. And you'll make some mistakes and you'll get stupid. And you'll buy stupid things because you never had it growing up. Oh, I had the picture of the Lamborghini in my bedroom. You're not 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? You're not 8 years old. Buy the assets. Let the assets buy that Lamborghini for you. Right? Like real business people, like real wealthy people. They let their businesses buy that stuff. They let their businesses pay for big exotic trips. They let their businesses pay for first class or private charters. They let their businesses pay for the best vacations and experiences. They have their businesses pay for their health care, or for something that pops up, or for their family's health care, or for their family when they get older, because they didn't plan. They didn't know about this. They didn't have financial literacy, financial intelligence. It wasn't taught to them. It's actually guarded from us, if you believe it or not. They don't want to teach that stuff in school. Then who would work? Right? You go to school, get in this row. You get into college, get in this row. Go to work, get in this row. Right? It's just set up that way. But not for us. That's why we're here. That's why we're working on this stuff now. So, guys, join me Wednesday. We have a phenomenal show. And if you haven't, make sure that you subscribe to Jamil Damji's YouTube. Unbelievable. Jerry Norton's YouTube. Pace Morby's YouTube. All absolute pros. Top class. You'll learn something on every single video. Make sure that you subscribe to the Brent Daniels YouTube channel. I love you. Remember, keep your house clean, protect your health, and increase your value to the world. You'll live a fantastic life. Love you guys. See you next week.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing? I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know. I
Okay.
forgot. So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.